What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Hockeytown University. You are here with me once again, Zach, and here you're with them once again, my lovely co-hosts, Matt and Derek. We are not hungover anymore. Boys, glad to see none of the boys ended up in Kansas after the tornado warning we had today. Leslie, I'm sorry you lost power, buddy. Derek, how's the storm for you?
It wasn't actually that bad. It only hit us in the morning over here, so I was pretty okay with it. It kept everybody away from work, so I love a good day where I don't have to see anybody.
Leslie, how you doing?
Oh, well, as everyone can see, I have a different background today, and that's because my power at home decided to just go out, not during the worst of the storm, but literally right after it left my area. So that's really cool to see. I was sitting at home, looking around, thinking, how the hell did I not lose power? It got real dicey there for a second. I think maybe 5 minutes after I said that out loud, it went out. So that's cool. It's going to be back tomorrow morning, so that's awesome. And we're making do tonight. You know, it's going to be a little greasy tonight. I don't have my normal setup, but we're going to get through it.
No rain light for Leslie.
No ring light for Leslie.
Beautiful face.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
And that's all we need.
Oh,
and that's all we
beautiful.
ask for.
Thank you. You bless us every time, Leslie.
Let's go ahead and jump right into it, boys. We got some news to break for you guys. We're going to start off with some Red Wings news. Then we'll go with some around the league news. And then we'll break down the Red Wings versus the Montreal Canadiens game. We'll do the overall assessment of what we thought about that game. A quick standings update. What's upcoming for the Red Wings. And then the final thoughts from the boys. We know that's your favorite because you guys like to watch the whole entire episode. So stay tuned and continue watching. We appreciate it. But as always, we wanted to take a second and appreciate those of you who did stop by and watch our video. For those of you that are new, thanks for stopping by. But please, hit that subscribe button. It makes Derek really happy. And make sure, as well, you smash the like button because Leslie, smash. Yes.
I always smash.
And as always, leave a comment as well. Let us know what you think. Let us know anything that we missed, and let us know what you guys think on how we're doing. And let us know what you guys think about how the Red Wings are doing towards the end of the season and what your expectations are with the last couple games that we do have in hand. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into those Red Wings news. And I'm sorry to start off with this. Marco Kasper is out for the rest of the season, more than likely. After more evaluating and x-raying, he's out. Should be ready for camp day one next season. Lower body injury that was nagging him after the game that he did play. Apparently, he got it towards the second period, played the rest of the game, but the next morning when he woke up, it was just hitting him a little bit harder. How sad are y'all to hear this? Because I'm pretty sad.
Buddies, it's just heartbreaking. We had him here, and poof, he's gone. We had our number one draft pick, and he's just no longer with us. I thought we were going to have him the rest of the season, see him do a little bit more magic. I was hoping for a few goals in there. I was hoping for at least 5 more fights. I don't even know. I think we have 5 games left or something, but, fight a game as long as he doesn't get kicked out, I'm happy with. Mm-hmm. Make a presence in the league, but, he did great, like Derek said on the team. I keep always saying that weird because my name's Derek, his name's Derek, but whatever. But what he said on the team, he did really well on his first game out there. He was really impressed. That team was impressed. He did great. Started a fight, blocked some goals. That's what we want to see in the team, and it hurts me. It just hurts me. He's not there anymore.
Bro, I thought you were talking about yourself. I was like, did he just...
I know, right? Isn't that, I gotta start remembering how to say his last name because, Jesus.
Derek's talking in third person now.
We like
I'm the coach of the Red Wings, okay?
We didn't know you were coaching the team. Leslie, how sad are you?
Yeah, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a negative 11 about how excited I am to hear this news. It sounds like it's something that thankfully is not going to require surgery and just he'll have the offseason to recover from it. I don't even really know the details of what's wrong with him. But yeah, I guess it was nice to see him in one game. It's one more than I was expecting this season, but it really just goes to show that the Red Wings just can't have nice things, man. It's real sad.
No nice things for the Red Wings. Never. Even when you're the last place team in the league. No nice things. You get Lucas Raymond. Consolation prize, sure. But no nice things.
No first-round draft picks for us.
Let us know what y'all think in the comments of how sad you guys are, if you're as sad as Leslie, if you're as sad as Derek, or if you're sad as me. And I'm pretty freaking sad, let me tell you guys. Like,
How sad are you?
I was full-fledged, really expecting maybe, maybe they were going to be a little cheeky and say, let's just throw him into the top line. Let's give Larkin a little breather, and let's bump him down to the second line. Not really. No, I didn't really expect that to happen, but I really did want to see, maybe he could get a goal in the second center. Maybe he can get some assists. I just wanted to see a little more action. It does suck, but it is good to hear that Lalonde is suspecting him to be ready for day one of training camp next season. So it's all we got to work with, right? So that's what I'm going to work with. So I'm going to take his word and just pray that he gets lots of rest and comes back better than ever. I mean, if Jonathan Berggren can do it, so can Marco Kasper. And that boy was out for 2 whole seasons pretty much. So, all right. Next up, Ned cannot be on the team due to a weird emergency call-up loans issue. And with Husso being back, I guess that's part of the reason why. But Husso might not be back fully himself, per Lalonde in today's media address. I really didn't understand it quite myself either. So I guess once Husso played yesterday, Ned technically wasn't on the team or the roster. I guess they couldn't have both on at the same time. But he didn't really say Ned was technically called back down to the Griffins. I might be understanding it wrong. If someone can confirm with me or help me better understand it in the comments, that would be great. I'd love to chat with you about that. So let's go ahead and start that discussion. But in other news, other than that, better news, Sebastian Cossa has been named Goaltender of the Month for the month of March for the ECHL League, posting a 6-1-1 record within that time frame. One of them was a shutout. He posted a 173 goals against average and a 944 save percentage. Leslie, I'll let you start with this one because I know you're itching to go and talk about this man. So let's hear it, buddy. Go Fins!
Let's go fish. I think you and I saw it firsthand when we went down to Holy Toledo and saw the walleye play that he's a guy who he may have started that game a little shaky, but I think he's a guy that plays with just so much confidence, and the way he moves around on the ice in his crease, you can kind of tell that he's got like a lot of poise and he's very confident in his ability. He's never really like scrambling to make a save because he was out of position. He's always going to be in the right position, and he's going to use his size, which I believe he's up to 6'6" now. He's going to use every inch of that size to stop the goal and cover up as much of his net as he can and just limit chances. So I think it's much deserved for him. It's not really the most ideal thing to have your top goalie prospect in the ECHL, but when you're developing a young goaltender, it doesn't really exactly matter which league he's in. You just really hope that he's going to dominate that league, and that's exactly what Kossa's doing down there. I mean, it's very clear that he's one of, if not the best goaltenders down there in the ECHL. So I think he likely has a full season next year in Grand Rapids. I would like to see him take the starting position, but we're still yet to see what that situation is going to shake out to be. But I think he likely probably has at least 2 solid years in the AHL before he's really coming up to Detroit. And even then, probably be in a backup role. You're not going to want him to start right away. But yeah, I just really hope he keeps this up because he's without a doubt our most important prospect. Maybe he's not the best, but he's definitely the most important. We really, really would like him to pan out because you really want to develop a young franchise goaltender. That's going to go a long way for your franchise going forward.
Derek?
Well, to say, I feel like Leslie was a little more harsh than I would have been there. I'm over here praying to God that he becomes the next the next, what's Tampa Bay's goalie? Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping from his size and the way he's playing, even though it's a lower end league. But still love the Walleyes. At the same time, it's still not the AHL, not the NHL. I want to see him. What I just want to see next year, pulled up the Grand Rapids, of course. I'm with Leslie on that one. But at the same time, let's give that starting role to him right away. He might have earned it if he doesn't pan out. Obviously, we got to set him to the side a little bit, get him back in the second role. But if he does, it looks great down there. And it's all of a sudden, in 1 to 2 years, we have this one goalie that's just blowing us out of the water. And like we said, get a franchise goalie. I would love to see that. So I'm a little more optimistic. I think it's going to happen, unlike Leslie. But I'm hoping for the best, just like all of us on this, too.
Yeah, to be honest with you guys, what he's doing in the ECHL, you can put as much crap on it as you want for that league, but like Leslie said, he went in there to dominate, or at least that's what the organization, the Red Wings, wanted him to do, and he's doing that. So that's really great to see, and yeah, I don't see any reason why he can't make the jump to the Grand Rapids Griffins. That's obviously the next clear step for him, right? To make the Red Wings, everything would have to go right. I'm not saying it's impossible for him to make that jump next season, but everything has to go right. Training camp, preseason, everything. It all has to go according to plan for him, but he knows what he needs to do. He got to play a couple games with the Griffins. He saw what it needs to take to be that goaltender for that team in that league. And by dominating in the ECHL, saying it again, this is just a development path for him. This is the way that it's going to go, and he's dominating there. It's going to translate to the AHL. Will it be next year? Who knows? Will it be in 2 years? More than likely, it would probably be in 2 years. But you just never know, especially with these goaltenders. Everyone's development path is different, and honestly, good on Sebastian Cossa for getting this prestigious monthly award from the ECHL. Like Leslie said, when we saw him, yeah, he looked very confident. He looked very in tuned with the game, and he was not sporadic at all. And that's something that, you go and watch an Alex Nedeljkovic. He's kind of sporadic all over in that goal crease. And then you see someone like Husso, who is just very much, what's the word I want to use? Maybe someone can help me out here, and I'm sorry for drawing a blank, but he's very much...
he's just calm and, sound and net.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. That's one way to say it. That's pretty much how I wanted to say it. Yes, Leslie. He's just a very sound goaltender. He knows how to do the small things right. And that's something that I think Cossa is truly working on, and it's paying off for him. And the Red Wings. A lot of people nagged on Steve Yzerman for not going after the Swedish goaltender. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Wallstedt. He's already playing with their AHL team. So what? They both can still be great goaltenders. We talked about this before. So I think Cossa now is just kind of putting everyone's minds at ease, at least for a little bit, up until he does make that jump. So good on Cossa. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to around the league news, shall we? So playoffs are close. Season ends in 8 days. Leslie. I won't start with it now, though. I promise. But I hope the Isles lose. We'll go into it later. Don't worry. But in other around the league news,
gun.
The NCAA Men's D1 Hockey Frozen Four begins tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. Minnesota, the number one team, goes up against Boston University. They are not ranked. They are one of the teams that was unranked heading into the tournament and somehow made it in there. But they always have a good program, so it's not quite surprising. At least to me. Yeah, they play at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Then you got number 3, Michigan University. Let's go.
Let's go blue.
Up against number 2, Quinnipiac at 8 p.m. tomorrow as well. Does anyone have any thoughts on who's going to make it to the championship game? I'll go first. I think it's going to be Michigan versus Minnesota, to be honest. I just think that that's probably what the Frozen Four needs, and I think that those two teams definitely have the best talent on both ends. So
I'm definitely an underdog story on this one. Give me Boston. I want them. I want them against Michigan, of course. I'm not going to throw them out of the finals. But at the end of the day, I think it'd be kind of cool if the underdogs win it. I'm always a fan of it. Why not? If not,
Dodgeball.
Michigan. Please, Michigan.
Dodgeball, an underdog story, for sure. Leslie.
Yeah, I'm going to put aside the Michigan bias. I guess it's not even really biased because like I really do view them as the best team in the tournament. I mean, you got Finn Tilly on there, Gavin Brindley, Luke Hughes. Do I even really need to keep going? Because I could keep going. Like, their team is just stacked from top to bottom. In my mind, this is Michigan's tournament to lose. I think I'm going to agree with Jarek. I'm going to have them going up against Boston. Boston, to me, just seems like, I mean, that's a really good program. They also have some good players on there. Lane Hudson's on there, and he's a very, very good player. And some would say that he should have been nominated for the Hobie Baker, which that's another conversation for another day. But, yeah, I think that's the final right there. And this is Michigan's tournament to lose. I mean, it's kind of going to make up for last year because I think they were a lot of people's favorite last year, and they kind of just got bounced unexpectedly. I don't think they even made it to the Frozen Four. Someone could check me on that, but I think they exited pretty early. But I really do feel like this is like Michigan's year, and I think Adam Fantilli is going to lead them. I'm going to make a little prediction right now. I'm going to say that Adam Fantilli gets 2 goals and an assist in a win over Boston in the Frozen Four final.
And Leslie is saying this at 6:13 in the clip, just so I know to go back into the video and make a mini clip out of this in case he gets it right. So 16.
Put your money on it, baby.
Everyone else put their money on it too, whether if you're going with Leslie or you're going with the other option, which is not Leslie. So let us know in the comments as well.
Everybody, yeah, make it a bet.
Everybody make a note. But don't bet on it, though, because I don't want to be responsible for lost wages.
Oh, I'm coming after you, buddy. Oh, sorry, I'm with you.
So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next Around the League news. This one isn't really Around the League news, but I found this one interesting, and I posted it in our group chat that we have. Daily Faceoff posted on Instagram, and it made it a reel asking, how many sports are passing hockey? I don't know if you guys watched it. I'm going to assume you guys didn't.
No.
I watched it.
I worked.
But, so basically, in the video, they were alluding that the WWE just signed a contract with UFC, so now they're paired up. That's a lot of money. And it made me think, and it made me wonder, and I started doing some research, and I was trying to see, you know, what's the most popular, like, sports in all of the world, North America, whatever. It's really hard to find. But basically what I got from it is, and I have to ask you guys, do you believe that the NHL is actually growing? A quick yes and no two sentence answer.
You know, that's...
Go.
Oh, go ahead, Derek.
I'd say yes, but a very slow pace. I think it's getting a little more exciting to watch, and people are noticing that, especially with all the players they have nowadays.
Leslie?
That's kind of a tough question to answer because I kind of feel like at this point, after COVID, they're kind of recouping their losses from COVID more than they actually are growing. You know, they lost a lot of revenue in that shutdown, and the NHL really was not at a great point in revenue alone. I mean, they definitely suffered the most from the 4 major sports entities that shut down during COVID. So I think once they can actually start recouping more of their losses and they get past that bubble, they can start growing. But I don't think it's growing as much as it should be. It's a very exciting sport, and I think there's a lot more that the NHL could be doing to grow it. But that's definitely a topic for another day because we could do a whole pod on that.
So the reason why I asked it like that, so Leslie, are you talking, and I didn't, like, yeah, you're right. It was kind of more of a broad question. So now I want to go deeper into that question. Now your answer, was that towards a revenue standpoint, or is that based on people that you think are actually joining to watch games that weren't watching the NHL before?
Well, no, I would say that's more based on a revenue standpoint because I think when you're that far in the hole with all those lost wages, like, I think there is a lot more people engaging with it, and we like to harp on the ESPN deal a lot, but the ESPN deal really did bring a lot of new people to watch hockey. Of course, it's not always simple to watch hockey on TV, but of course, we'll get into that some other time. But I do think that the viewership and the overall global, like the eyeballs on it around the world, I think it is increasing steadily. It may take a while for revenue to start going up more, but I think that it is growing pretty well right now.
Sorry for the long pause, but I was trying to look up
What you
to
looking
see.
up there?
I was trying to see what the viewership by year was actually going to be because that was one of the things that I did not look up while I was trying to find out, and I wanted to make it mainly about revenue. So, like for Derek, I guess I'll ask you the same thing. Do you think it's growing based on the amount of people extra that are watching the NHL, or is it just in growth based on revenue? Because I think that those are two different things personally. I think, while yes, you are trying to recoup your revenue, but does that actually mean that the NHL and viewership is growing? Because they easily could just say, oh, let's just mark everything up and now your revenue's going up, right?
I mean, yeah, and it depends on
So-
who's putting more money into the system, who's like putting more stuff. Like, of course, we have big name like superstars now, like Ryan Reynolds trying to buy the Ottawa Senators. Like, people are getting interested in it, but I feel it's like it could be big name people at the same time. You don't know who's like dumping the money and where's the money's coming from. So it could be either or, but at the same time, I just have no idea on that aspect.
So, all right, this article that I just found came out in February, and it says the average TV audience for NHL games on ESPN and Turner stands, so TNT, it stands at 373,000 viewers, down from the average of 478,000 accrued at the same point last season. That's over 100,000 viewers that they just lost.
Ouch.
So COVID, while Leslie's saying COVID might have did them a disservice in bringing in money, but COVID helped them overall with their viewership. Now, that is partially why they went to ESPN, and a lot of people, a lot of other companies went really heavy into their investments to try and seek more viewership. But as COVID slowly started going away, a lot of people started going outside more. A lot more people started watching less TV. So I have to ask the question again. Is increased revenue saying that the league is actually growing? Me personally, no. I think the viewership is what makes the league grow. And if you're losing 100,000 within a year like that, that's a big ouch to the league. And by saying, oh yeah, we increased our revenue by $4 billion since last year. Well, yeah, because people weren't able to come to your games. It's just that easy. Does that kind of change anyone's mind a little bit? Or am I going a little too far out there?
I mean, I see it also going to the fact that, of course, people aren't able to go to the games anymore, but then you got that revenue of people coming back, so then you're going to lose, say, 20 to 30,000 viewers plus right there per households. So there's a big margin of it. So, and you don't really know, what are the stats, what are the viewership before COVID, too? Could it be up from that time as well, or is it just a steady decline the entire time? You just really don't know. Unless, I guess we could look it up, but I feel like we're getting too deep into it a little bit.
So, yeah, okay, yeah, and I'm sorry. So I'll close it out with this right here. So just for reference, before COVID happened, starting in 2016, this is for playoff coverage with NBC. We'll start from 2016 and I'll go up from 2019. So in 2016, let's see, it was an average of 4 million viewers. 2017 was 4.6, 2018 was 4.7, and then 2019 was $5.3 million viewers for the playoffs. So before COVID, it was increasing, but for the playoffs, not for the regular season. The regular season is definitely really hard to maintain and watch a full 82 game season.
I mean, it hurts sometimes.
It's almost impossible unless you do nothing all day. Sorry, Derek, I didn't mean to do that.
Isn't that also true for NBA and MLB? I mean, both those sports, MLB is literally twice the amount of games over the regular season schedule. And more people tune in to watch MLB than NHL games. More people tune into a random NBA game that's featured on a Friday night on TNT than any other NHL game. So I think if you see your viewership increasing during the NHL playoffs, I think, as we all know, the playoffs are when you want to get into the sport. That is when hockey is at its fastest, most skilled, most violent, really just the most
Oh, yeah.
entertaining form of hockey to watch is playoff hockey. If you have
Oh, yeah.
new viewers tuning in for that alone, and you can market playoff hockey the best out of anything, like that's like the best aspect from your game you can market, then that's how you create returning fans. They're going to watch this and be like, I never really paid any mind to hockey, but now I'm watching this playoff game between whoever it's going to be, Rangers and Devils. This is pretty cool. Like, they're going to love it, and then they're going to be sucked in. And I also have always said, like, this is never going to be a thing that's fixed. It's just too big of an endeavor. But I've always said that if the NHL was going on at a different time than the NBA, the NHL would be wildly more popular, because you got the NBA, you don't want to go up against them. That's like, it's like at the same season as NHL. So you're never going to have people who are like going to watch both, because it's too much to focus on at once. It's just impossible to watch every single game of NBA and every single game of NHL. If both those like schedules were split up, it would be way more popular. But that's of course probably never going to happen. So kind of really pointless to even go into that. But I really feel like if you can market the playoff game the best, that's what's going to have people return to your game.
No, 100%. I think it does really come down to marketing. I think when you were over that one weekend, I mentioned how that they actually made a decent playoff commercial for the NHL for once, and that's something that they've always truly lacked. And so I've always been someone that says their marketing team sucks. I still firmly believe that. So I just think that that's something that they truly need to tackle and that they're lacking. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the game that took place yesterday. Red Wings versus Montreal Canadiens. Wings win 5-0. But if your team tank...
I like a win.
But we also like Bedard Magic.
I know, Magic Conch, I'm sorry.
Hey guys, what am I doing right now? What am I doing? I'm digging the grave for Team Tank. We're winning out, baby. Let's go.
I love a good win. I think this is good. Like I said, as much as I want Bedard, I want us to have a good draft pick, I still think that getting wins towards the end of the season, because we talked about this, these young guys coming onto the team, it's important for them. We need to instill the winning culture in them as best as possible, so that way next season they can come in riding that hot hand that they're exiting with this season. So, Daddy Perron, 2 goals, 1 assist yesterday.
I was hoping for the hat trick so bad. I was like, come on. 2. Give me 2 hat tricks.
Imagine him going, I never thought that I'd ever give each of my kids a puck. Now he's going to say, never thought I'd imagine myself giving my kids 2 pucks.
You'd be like, hey kids, I hope you hung on to that puck because I got another one for you. Put this in your lunchbox. Yeah.
I feel like I hope for another one soon, actually. Get a 3rd one. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
At that point, those kids are going to start being greedy. Daddy, where are the pucks at? I didn't get any this week. I'm sure he's a lot nicer to his kids than how I made it sound, so don't take my word for that. I'm sure he does not do that. Leslie, what do you have to say? I'm sorry.
I don't think I had anything to say.
Oh, my bad. Okay, let's move on then. All right.
Fantastic.
Osterley and Olimata also posted 2 points that game. They got 2 assists. Raymond, Matt Luff, Joe Veleno got goals as well. Veleno's was a power play goal. This is something I wanted to bring up. Simon Edmondson, while he has been looking really good, and he has been looking really good every game that he plays, he looks better and better. What's up with the penalties, though?
Dude, he definitely has some attitude on him out there. I don't know if it's good or bad, but...
The attitude is one thing, but when you're taking a penalty every game, that's like Gustav Lindstrom stuff. Like, you can't... We don't need that kind of stuff. So, I got to ask you guys, is this something to worry about? And is this something that will continuously go on into his career? Because this is something you really got to think about. Leslie, I'll let you start.
All right, so just to clarify, we're talking about Edmondson, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really tall dude.
I mean, I think I brought it up before. Like, this is what, like, his 5th or 6th NHL game, and I think he's still trying to iron that out of his game. I think just from him not only playing in Grand Rapids, but in Sweden too, there might be a little more that he can get away with. And I think also it's just he utilizes his long reach a little too much, and sometimes that gets him in trouble. So I think, honestly, the answer to this might even seem like a little bit like, God, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, kind of like out of the box, like you wouldn't think about it, but I think the answer here is just for him to be more physical. Because if he's using his body more than just his reach to knock players off pucks, he's not going to draw those slashing penalties, those hooking penalties, those holding penalties. I think he can honestly learn a lot from Seider on how he plays defense, because Seider is very effective at just muscling guys off the puck. I think if he can teach someone that to Edvinsson, you'd see a lot less penalties being taken by him. I don't know. Maybe it's just he's not used to the NHL game yet, and the NHL game is called a little tighter. I think that might be part of it. So I think it's something he'll iron out of his game. I definitely think it's something they're going to work on in the offseason, because you really don't want him to be a liability out there. He's going to be one of our franchise defensemen, so you really don't want him to keep doing that. But I think it's something that will be a focus, and I think he'll get it ironed out of his game with more experience.
Derek, you can go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, before I cut out again, God, I love my internet. Holding strong now.
It doesn't love you, though.
Megan!
Ignore her. But honestly, I agree with what Leslie was saying, too. Yeah, they have to work with him on this one. It's like not going well, but he's young. This is his first season, not even his first season. It's his first few games. He's switching over from a league. He definitely has to use his body like Seider does in a way. Keeps people away from the puck without having to use his long poke check, because he has this massive body. We use that instead. People aren't going to be able to skate through you, especially when someone's 5'10", 170 pounds. They're going to bounce right off him. Like, he's just got to learn a way to, like, utilize his strengths instead of just making those dumb little penalties when he messes something up or gets annoyed with somebody. Because obviously we saw that with Bunt. He almost beat the crap out of him, and I was like, I kind of want it, but let's not do that right now. He's getting pretty much kicked out for the rest of the period.
Yeah, I don't think that this is something that I'll speak on myself. I'm not worried about it. For the fans, I don't think that this is something that should be a concern long term. Like you guys are saying, he's just a young kid. You know, he's still just learning the NHL ropes. Like Leslie said, who knows how much he was able to get away with while being with the Griffins. I didn't get to watch a lot of him playing there, so I can't attest to what he did there versus what he's doing here. But you're right, Leslie. It is quicker. The AHL and the NHL are two completely different leagues. They're not the same. The skill comparison and the speed and the way that the players play are just a different level. So it's going to be an adjustment period for him for sure. And there's a good reason why we brought him up early. And there's a good reason why we sat him for a couple games, so that way he could not only watch, but understand why players like Seider don't just utilize their long reach to try and break a breakaway, or someone coming in and he has to play quick thinking, you know. And going into the draft when we selected him, Yzerman knew that he was going to be, I wouldn't say a project pick by any means. The skill set was there, but how high can it go? And it's just going to come down to him adjusting to the league, and hopefully we'll be able to see that in the next year or two and see what that ceiling could look like. Hopefully it is to a Seider caliber. I won't hold him to that. I think that's a little unfair, but I would like to see him push himself pretty hard to maintain himself a top 4 role in that defense. I think it would be pretty lackluster if I watched him play the bottom pairing the whole entire season next season. It's not the worst, but I would like to see him make the jump to the top 4 and keep that spot and make Yzerman make a tough decision to maybe potentially move Wallman, Mata, or Sherratt. Shoot, I was thinking about that going to bed the other night. I was like, there's an opportunity where Steve Yzerman could do that in the offseason. He could trade one of those 3 if Simon Edvinsson comes in and dominates in training camp. For real. So
I just think at this point in the season, like he's on a learning curve right now, and it's really kind of like, I don't even want to say it's like a trial by fire, because I think overall he's been doing pretty well, and he doesn't really look out of place at all playing in the NHL. But it's just like every game, whether he's playing in it or he's sitting in the press box watching it from above, it's a learning experience every time. You know, he'll be sitting there watching guys like Sider and Mata play defense, and he'll be saying to himself, okay, so this is how you knock a player off the puck without, you know, taking a penalty. This is how you play in the offensive zone and you don't create a turnover at the blue line. Like pretty much every game is like a new lesson for him, and it's really just going to be taken one game at a time, where he can just continually figure out what he has to do to be an effective NHL defenseman. And I think he's getting really good experience in right now.
Well, we don't know what exactly happened to Leslie, so I don't think anyone's really worried about Edvinsson, to be honest. From what Leslie was saying, it sounded like he was basically just going to say the exact same thing that I said, just in different words almost. So let's continue on, Derek. Hopefully he can rejoin us here.
Each other, so.
So, I honestly wanted to speak on Joe Veleno for a little bit and appreciate how good he's been looking lately. While granted, he's not producing at the point level that you can say that he's been looking good, but overall, his stick handling, his skating, his dekes, everything just look really good. I mean, can you attest to that with me? That Joe Veleno
I can definitely agree. He's upped his game over the last few weeks here, like from what we saw at the beginning of the season, where he was very lackluster. He's not the person that we were hoping to see at that time. But after the last few games, he's starting to break out those silky mitts, making those shots, getting past everybody. I'm actually starting to see his speed that we were hoping for. But obviously, like, it took a little bit. I can't remember, was he injured at all in the previous time, or has he just been with the team this entire time and not been really producing like we were hoping?
No, I think he just didn't play one game. He's on pace to finish out with 81 games played, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I think that's...
Okay, so just a little bit on the quiet side for him this season. I can't remember even his previous stats right now or anything like that from the current seasons, but at the same time, I know we were hoping for high hopes from him. And what I'm seeing towards the last few weeks, definitely a movement in the right direction.
Yeah, so for what Derek was saying, and I'll come out and help Derek a little bit here. So when he got his first true call with the Red Wings was last season. In 66 games played, he put up 8 goals, 7 assists for 15 points. He was a minus 14. So that's what really stuck out to me, was he was only a minus 14 last year when the whole entire team we talked about, they were like a minus like 120 something or whatever ridiculous it was. And then this season, in 76 games played, 9 goals, 10 assists, he's a minus 4. That's a good improvement.
And all that's not bad. Like,
but
especially
you're right,
for the
Derek,
Red Wings right now.
This is someone that we kind of thought, who could come in and be a full 200-foot player out on the ice as a center. And he is learning that curve pretty quickly. From what I see personally, it might not be at the speed of development that we thought it could go, considering that from playing in the queue in his last season, he put up 104 points in 59 games with 42 goals. So it might not be quite there what we thought it would be.
Why can't
but
it
it's progressively coming. And I do think that eventually he could be like a stud 3C center for the Red Wings or for whoever else it may be. But I do think that he could take on that role for the Red Wings for years to come. If you don't project Michael Rasmussen being a center himself, I think Michael Rasmussen would be better on the left. So now that I lost Derek and I got Leslie back with me, give me your thoughts on Joe Veleno recently, whether if that's from this last game, because I mentioned how he's been looking really slick lately. So give me your thoughts on him, Leslie.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back, guys. My God, this episode is going to be another disaster, but that's okay because you guys seem to love chaos, so that's cool. Yeah, as far as Joe
At least
Valeno
it's not
goes,
me this time.
You mentioned that he was over 100 points in the queue. Like, over 100 points in the queue is like being like a 35-point player in the NHL. Like, the queue is a scoring league. Like, everyone is scoring in that league. It's ridiculous, but that skill set doesn't always translate in the NHL, and I guess that's fine. Like, you still have a serviceable player in Joe Valeno. You can definitely see the skill there. I mean, he tried to do the Forsberg move this year, so he's definitely playing with a lot more confidence. I think if he just keeps playing with this level of confidence, he's going to eventually like start producing. It's really only a matter of time. He's still a young player in the NHL. I think he's only 22 or 23, so yeah, definitely still young. Definitely has a lot of time to improve and grow. He's probably going to cap out as a 3C. Maybe he'll be a depth center. He might take over that 4C role when Pius Suter, if he's not re-signed in the offseason, he might take over that role next season. But I like what I see from him. I think he is a very effective 200-foot player. His offense may not be there yet, but he does still have a very solid defensive game. So that's a nice thing to fall back on for him. And I really think just as time goes on, he's going to really come more into his own and just start playing with a lot more confidence. And you're going to see those goals go in. You're going to see him chip in more offense. So he's another guy that I'll be watching with a lot of interest.
For those of you that are watching this video, it's funny because on our end, I can't see Matt. But on your end, you might be able to. So I'm going to find out once I make this video. So yeah, that's
I sure hope it
chaos.
works.
We know that you guys appreciate chaos on this podcast. But yeah, I mean, in the last 5 games, Joe Valeno has got 3 points. I think that that's really good going into the end of the season. Like I said, this is important for our young players. It's good that our older players, Salem Larkin, David Perron, are showing these kids that, like, even though we're out of the playoffs, you still have something that you have to play for. We keep on talking about that in our episodes, that there is still stuff that these players have to play for. They do. Jobs, roster spots, whatever it is. You got to continue to keep improving and secure your spot on the team. I can see Leslie again. Thank goodness, I was missing your face. So let's go ahead and talk about the next Red Wing player, which would be Matt Luff. This is a player that I actually did not pull up, but he's a guy who got a goal, and this is the reason why I wanted to talk about him. In the game against the Montreal Canadiens, he put up a goal, 2 shots, 5 hits, 1 block, and 1 takeaway. The next best hitter on the team in that game had 2 hits. This guy, this is the kind of player that you want as a depth player that is utilizing every chance that he gets playing in the league and goes out there and plays his damn heart out. These are the types of players that Yzerman wants, and I would not be surprised if you did sign him to a minimum contract, a league minimum contract, someone who bounces up and down from the AHL to the NHL. And I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure he's a right-handed shot. I'm not exactly sure. But I want to hear from you guys about Matt Luff. Do you think that this is great stuff? Do you think that this is someone that is showing that he should be a Red Wing next season? Or, just do you think any team in the league should go out there and sign a guy like this that is actually going out there and pouring out his heart to make sure that he stays in the league? I don't know who wants to go first. I don't know who's going to go out on me first. So anyone go.
I actually got him pulled up right now, so I can go on this a little bit. But yeah, you're right. He's a right wing, right-handed. 6'2", 196 pounds. Dude's huge, especially for a right wing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's got 3 points, 15 games right now, averaging about 9.5 minutes a night, so not too much playing time, obviously. But he's he only a -2. Being with us right now, especially when we're not getting the most goals on net, even though when we're winning, especially like last night. But it's not a bad little scoring session there. Being pulled up when you need him, he's doing what he needs to do. 26 points in his entire career of 102 games. not bad at all, honestly, for it looks like a player that's just that player you need when you need to fill a spot on an emergency, pretty much. So I could see the league sign him for a little bit longer. I don't know if on the Red Wings, but I could definitely see somebody would potentially want to utilize him for something. Maybe the Red Wings. Who knows? I wouldn't mind.
I do think that we are now in, before Leslie goes, and I'm sorry, Leslie, I do think that the Red Wings going into next season, you're definitely in the market to continuously get players like a Matt Luff to start off in the AHL, and in case of injuries, like you said, Derek, then you bring him up and you have him cover that hole for a little bit on the fourth line. Leslie, thoughts on Matt Luff? Player that you could see with the Red Wings, a player that you think could stay in the league in general based on the 5 hits, goals, just whatever he does. The heart.
I mean,
that was something you brought up on the last episode.
This is kind of just like the whole late season effect where we've already sold off our good players and the rest of the team is injured. Guys, this guy is an NHL fill-in. He's like a career AHLer. So when he was in LA, he was a fill-in. When he was in Nashville, he was a fill-in, and he's a fill-in here. That's really at this point all that he's going to be, and I would not expect him to be anything more than that. I guess you could sign this guy for league minimum. You're not really risking that much money while you're doing that, and I guess he'd be an all-right call-up. Ideally, you want the team to have a lot more talent in every single part of the roster and also have them be healthy rather than having to be injured or not skilled enough and have to call up someone like this to fill spots in the lineup. But that all being said, he was very effective last night. This whole game has kind of skewed our viewing on what our players look like because Montreal is just tanking on a different level than on the other team. I mean, they have we talk about all the injuries on our roster. I feel 80% of their roster is injured right now. So you did not get the best of the Montreal Canadiens.
That list, boys, oh my God. I was like,
they are an AHL team for days out there. What was that? I felt almost bad for them. I'm like, if we don't win this, there's a problem. And I was like, okay, this is right.
All right, quick question for you guys. Who do you think would be worse, the Canadiens team of 22-23 season or the Red Wings' worst season when they came in last place?
God.
What was that, 19-20?
By a country mile.
Based on what we saw last night from the
Canadiens.
Canadiens,
It's not even
it looked like the Red Wings out there from that season. Honestly, I was thinking that. Oh, sorry, Matt. We're talking over each other. Go ahead, buddy.
This episode has become such a disaster. This might be worse than Mondays, but that's okay. We roll with it. I think it's the 1920 Wings by a country mile. We had nothing. We had Dylan Larkin, Tyler Bertuzzi. I mean, that was pretty much it, right? We had nothing. Absolutely nothing. No young talent. I mean, there's some guys that were drafted a year or two before that were playing on Montreal that night. I don't know all of them off the top of my head because I'm not a Habs fan. I don't pay that much attention.
Derek, which team's worse?
Well, I guess to pick up where Leslie came off, I do agree with him because last night when I was watching that game, I got some horrific flashbacks from the 2019-2020 season. Let me tell you, I was like, this is an NHL team playing out there on the ice. I'm like, I literally thought I could be the one out there playing for the Red Wings back then, and that's a sad thought to see, especially with me in my beer league. So, but yeah, still, nope, going with what Leslie thought on it too. They are pretty much the same team right now at this point, just a shell of what they were.
Yeah. To be honest with you guys, whenever Leslie gets back, I think it would be pretty tough if you put them in a 7-game series to see who actually was the better team. If Montreal had a fully healthy roster, I probably would say Montreal, but that team that I saw last night, I don't know. I think the 1920 Wings probably would take them in a heartbeat. But that's also a bias from me. So I'm a Red Wings fan, so I got to do it. So, Leslie, I know you cut out. Do you want to try again?
This is fucking ridiculous.
Nope. Okay. I lost both of my hosts. So once they decide to make it back, I'll just continue on with this episode. So overall of the game, the Canadians are doing anything that they can to get the overall pick. But boy, I do feel bad for their injury list, because that list was 2 pages that they showed on the game yesterday. I was like, oh man. Well, sucks to suck, I guess. Go Red Wings. So, Red Wings played a good game overall. Granted, it was against a bad Montreal team. The passes were clicking, the hits were hurting, and the boys were buzzing. That's all we can really ask for at this point in the season. So, before we actually wrap it up, I have Derek joining me once again. Hopefully he's actually...
Yeah,
Derek,
it looks good too.
Derek, you joined me for the standings update. Yes, buddy, I already did the overall game assessment. So let's go ahead and take a look at the standings.
Let's go Red Wings.
Leslie is joining us once again. Hopefully, I'm not sure what's going on with him. He might as well should just stop trying. No offense, buddy, but it's not helping us out any bit. So
I think his is giving mine the ick right now, man.
It is giving you the ick, actually, technically, yes. I think...
Oh.
Because now Derek has the ick again. So quick standings update for y'all. For those of you that are not paying attention, we are 11th to last in the standings. And for those of you who cannot do math, or at least quick math like myself and actually had to count, we are 22nd overall in the league. In order to get a better Islanders pick in the first round, we do need the Penguins and the Panthers to keep winning. Sorry, Leslie family, and not sorry, but I am sorry for smacking my microphone to everyone if you did hear that. So, looking at the standings, once again, let's go ahead and break it down that the Red Wings are 22nd overall, like I said, 77 games played, 79 points. Ahead of them, you got Buffalo with 76 games, 81 points, tied with Ottawa, 78 games played, 81 points. Below the Red Wings, you got St. Louis tied with us in points, but they have 78 games played. Then you got Washington with 77 and 77. Vancouver, 77 games played, 75 points. And you got the Flyers at 77 games with 71 points. The Red Wings keep on making the gap that much wider. And as Lalonde said, some of the fans might not like the fact that we are jumping up in the standings. But like I keep on saying in this episode, this is just good for the young players. And not just good for the young players, but for everyone that's on this team. This is something that is helping them out and riding this going into next season. And Derek, you joined me. Oh my goodness, I didn't think you were going to make it back. So you caught us up for what's upcoming next for the Red Wings. I just broke down the standings update. So let's go ahead and talk about what's upcoming for the Red Wings. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. at home, the Red Wings take on the Buffalo Sabres. Then on Saturday at 1 p.m. at home, once again, the Red Wings face off against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And like I said, we need the Penguins and we need the Panthers to lose. I'm sorry, Leslie family. I know that y'all are Islanders fans, but we need the pick more than you guys need to go into the playoffs. Promise me. It'll do you guys a lot of good if you just allow us to have this one time.
I mean,
please.
I'm sorry, Leslie family. You're in Michigan now. Whoever you know or relatives, they're over there. They can have them. Do your rights and take up that red flag and be happy with us and have them lose.
Yes, please. We would appreciate it. So, Derek, with that being said, let me hear your final thoughts. And at least, as well as that, let me hear on expectations for these upcoming games that we have before our next episode on Sunday.
Well, truthfully, I've been pretty happy with what we've been seeing with the Red Wings so far as a team in this whole entirety of what we've been seeing in the last few weeks. We had a few little, scrimmages in there that we didn't want to see, but at the same time, I think we're on the up and up right now. And I'd say for the next few games against Buffalo tomorrow night, I'm going to guess right now we are going to whoop them in the butt and send them all the way back to their godforsaken land over there in Buffalo. I don't even think it's Buffalo. Where are they from?
It's Buffalo. They're the Buffalo Sabres. Don't pay attention to this guy. All right. Against the Penguins. I just got
back in. But they're going 2-1 that game. I'm getting that in there.
All right.
And the next... Wait, who do they play next on the list? I forgot.
Penguins.
Ooh, our nice little rematch. 4-1 Detroit. Just because they got to keep that winning streak going at the worst time right now.
I literally just said they needed to lose, Derek, and you're like, yes, let's take it. Now you're saying the Red Wings are going to win. Sham of a fan you are. Oh, my goodness. All right, so for me, let's see. The Sabres.
I know, but I'm just giving the predictions, you turd nugget.
So for me, looking at Buffalo, they're on a 1-game losing streak. In their last 10 games, they're 4-4-2. Red Wings are 5-5-0. Yeah, Tage Thompson. It pretty much just comes down to Tage Thompson and some of those other players over on Buffalo. It definitely comes down to our goaltending. They still haven't said if Husso's in net. They haven't said if Hellberg or Ned's in net.
From what it sounds like, they're hoping Husso is going to be in net for the next 5 games, is what Lalonde's saying right now. Not sure, though.
So with that, I think I'm going to have to go with Buffalo. I'll go 3-1. Sorry, Red Wings. I love y'all, but I got a team tank. Bedard. Magic Conch.
Okay? Magic Conch.
So for Saturday, 1 p.m. against the Penguins. The Penguins are 4-6 in the last 10 games. They're currently on a 1-game losing streak as well. I know Leslie would say that they're booty cheeks. To be honest, the Islanders haven't been looking that much better, but going against the Red Wings, we dominated them last time, and for whatever reason, I don't see it happening again. What? I think the Penguins are just too close in that wild card spot that they're going to, while we're also playing our hearts out towards the end of the season, they have something worth more fighting for, so I could definitely see it being a scrappy game. Especially, I don't even know when the Penguins play in between that. Actually, they do play tomorrow against Minnesota. So that's another game where they have to win out the rest of the season pretty much if they want to guarantee themselves a spot. So I'm prepared for them to come in hot. I'm going to say 4-3 in overtime. Red Wings, though. I think that's beneficial for the Penguins and for us. We get a win. They get a point. Islanders.
I like how you went down the middle of a line for some reason. It's like, okay, we don't win, but we don't lose either on this side.
It's a win-win. I love it. All right. So, final thoughts. I would say for everyone, but Derek, final thoughts, buddy, before we close out here.
Oh, I'm hoping my internet stays up for the next 50 seconds here while we finish this. And let's go Red Wings. Let's get a Bedard in there by some magic conch nonsense that I love so much. All hail.
All hail.
Oh, but yeah, let's have some good games. I hope we have some good games these couple next days. So I believe we'll pull out some wins. Hopefully an overtime win, I guess, is still a win for the Red Wings. Whatever. I'll go with it.
Buddy.
Zach needs it. But
it's not just me. It's the team. Bedard.
Come on, man. Guess got to jump fully on the bandwagon and not just... I like the wins. I just like the wins. I can't help it.
I know, buddy. Me too. So...
But let's win. Let's get Bedard.
For myself... Re-uttering what Derek said, yes, let's go Bedard, let's go Wings. I like wins, but I like Bedard. So my final thoughts are, just go out there, have fun, and let's go Red Wings. Other than that, let's go ahead and close off, Derek. We want to thank you all again for joining us. For those of you that are returning, thank you. For those that are new, thanks for joining us. Thanks for stopping by. If you very much so would, hit that subscribe button that's down there. That would be great. We definitely do appreciate that. But also, while you're at it, the like button is just right over there, too. Why don't you go ahead and just smash that real quick?
Just give it a little pokey poke.
Just touch it. Just give it a little touch.
There's no nudge. That touch sign on that little button.
Yeah. Also, let us know what you guys think about the episode. That really does go a long way. We like interacting with our fans. We think you guys are funny. We know that we're not so funny, so we want you guys to make us laugh sometimes. Go ahead. Rip on us. Rip on the team. Rip on other teams.
It's okay. At least I'm not old like Zach.
You can see the wrinkles for sure. Yes, I'm getting there. All right. So let's go ahead and close it off there. Thank you again for everyone for dropping by and stopping and watching and listening. Wherever you tune into us, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, we are working on other platforms that we can gain access to allow you guys, the viewers, to hear, watch, and listen to us. I pretty much just said that twice. But anyways, thank you once again for stopping by. And as always, till next time, Hockeytown University, let's go Red Wings. Bye, everyone.
Not everybody.